Armed Forces provides amazing training.
I think about veterans as people who have already figured out how to serve.
My military skills have been essential.
Hiring veterans is a great business case. They're the best employees we have. They're flexible, hardworking, and they're used to a global workplace.
If that isn't an asset to any company, I don't know what is.
Hiring America, the award-winning television job fair for American veterans. Connecting you with companies who know your value. Learn about employers who are actively hiring today and organizations that support veterans. Your future success starts right here on Hiring America.
Hiring America is produced in cooperation with the VFW. No one does more for veterans.
Welcome to Hiring America, the television series that helps military veterans find jobs and transition into meaningful careers. I'm Lauren Wonko at Coca-Cola headquarters in Atlanta. Today you're going to hear from companies that are actively recruiting veterans and from organizations who serve the military community. We're also speaking with veterans like you who've made successful transitions into the civilian workforce. We'll tell you who's hiring and give you information to get you the job you deserve. We'll also help connect you to job openings. Log on to our website, hiringamerica.net, for more information. And follow us on our Facebook page and Twitter.
Our history has been steeped in military tradition, nickel, coke, all through World War II for any of our troops anywhere in the world, to provide them with that little taste of home. There's nothing more real than the commitment to serve, the sacrifice it makes, and I think it gives us great pleasure that have our brand associated with our great military men and women around the world every day.
Coca-Cola's support of service members dates back to the 1940s when the company committed to, quote, see that every man in uniform gets a bottle of Coca-Cola for 5 cents wherever he is and whatever it costs the company. Joining me now at Coca-Cola headquarters in Atlanta are Mark Rahia, Chief U.S. Sales and Operations Officer, and Jerome Richard, Program Manager for Talent Acquisition. Mark served in the U.S. Navy and Jerome with the U.S. Army. Thank you both, gentlemen, for joining us here on Hiring America.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaking of your history, tell me what it's like for a company here to be so supportive of service members since the 40s.
Well, I think it's first of all, it's exciting to be part of an organization that has been so supportive of our military throughout the decades. Part of our global expansion of how we became a great international company was in World War II, as we established nearly over 30 field bottling facilities that followed the troops around the different fronts of the globe. We left behind bottling plants, and it really helped launch the international business for Coca-Cola, being so supportive of the troops during World War II. And we serve approximately 2.4 million beverages a day to the armed forces, so we're very proud of that.
How many employees here at Coca-Cola are veterans?
Well, we have thousands of employees here that are veterans, and we try to engage our veterans through our BRGs and try to make them active and make sure that they're actually having a great time and they actually enjoy what they're doing as far as reaching out to the military spouses as well as the military veterans.
And just to make it a little easier to understand, the Business Resource Group, that is a group here within Coca-Cola made up of associates that are veterans?
Veterans and non-veterans. One of the things that they do, our BRG, Business Resource Group, does is that they help us and assist us with career fairs, because what we know is that not a lot of our recruiters have spent time in the military. And what we want to do is have people that can walk the walk and talk the talk, so those veterans in those Business Resource Groups actually help translate the resumes from those veterans to our recruiters.
Mark, tell me what the culture is like here at Coca-Cola. What's it like to work here?
We're a culture that is built around a brand Coca-Cola, that really stands for values, integrity, authenticity. It is what is Coke and why we've had 128 years of continued success, why we've been a part of communities, why we engage with the military and engage in every community we operated in over 207 countries around the globe. It is a place where people are very passionate about the business, very committed to our brands, and it's a fun place to work. Because you always say we're in the business of selling smiles, right? We refresh the world.
That sounds good.
And so it's a hard-working culture. It is one where we're an operating business. We sell 1.9 billion drinks a day around the globe.
Jerome, you have a military skills translator on your website, right?
Yes, at enjoycareers.com/military. What we have is a military page designated for people that are getting out of the military that want to learn a little bit more about our company. So what a service member could do is go in there, enter their MOS, and then what it does is pops out and it translates it to open positions within our company.
Mark, speaking of skills, how do you help somebody narrow that down and figure out really the best position for them?
A company like ours is big, so we have multiple career paths that you can follow. The important thing is to find a good place to land, sort of learn the culture of the organization, get yourself established, and then you've got an internal visibility of the other opportunities that are out there.
Gentlemen, tell me a little bit about the mentorship opportunities available here at Coca-Cola for Veterans.
Well, I think there's a couple things. Overall, we've already mentioned our Military Veterans Business Resource Group, which offers internal support and opportunity for those veterans and friends of the military employed with Coca-Cola. Also, what I think is very exciting, we have a program underway where we're aligning with American corporate partners. So what that's allowing us to do is provide 50 mentors from our organization to actually help mentor individuals who are making that transition right now to or not to Coca-Cola, but making that transition from military to the civilian workforce. So that's a great opportunity to leverage some of our talent out with military going through the transition.
What is some advice that you both would offer to veterans who are watching? What would you say to them?
One of the things that we've learned is that a lot of people that are getting out of the military is about what we did in the military. But in an interview, we've got to make sure that it's about what I did.
If you think about in our organization, a lot of people come in as drivers. We have 15,000 trucks on the road every day. Commercial vehicles. We need great drivers who are looking to build careers with us in that space. We have over 400 warehouses operating every day with fork truck drivers and supervisors and managers operating and moving our products around the country and logistics management and support. We have IT. A lot of folks in the military work on the IT systems. There are many ways to help translate what you've done into practical things and find that right spot to land in an organization like ours or other companies.
Continue the conversation on our Facebook page and Twitter, and visit our website at hiringamerica.net. Tell us how Hiring America has helped you. Have you found a new career in the civilian workforce? Have you hired more veterans in your business? Email us your story at mystory@hiringamerica.net.
Tell me a little bit about your military experience.
Well, I was a submarine officer, so I came out of school. I did the Naval ROTC program at my university, and I went to the Naval Nuclear Power School and then did the submarine program. I served on the USS Maryland out of Kings Bay, Georgia. It was a tough decision whether to leave or stay when my junior officer tour was up. I made the decision to leave, and it was figuring how to translate submarine experience into the civilian world was obviously a big challenge.
And how did you do that?
Starting early, I started about a year out. I did a lot of networking. I looked at companies I thought I would like. I liked Coca-Cola a lot because of the integrity and values and things like that. And it was through a lot of networking and following up, going to websites, tracking down data and information that I kind of honed in on a couple companies.
And what was the transition like to civilian workforce?
It takes a little while to adjust. You've gained a lot of experience, and it's very valuable. A lot of folks won't have that same experience, and so sometimes it's a little hard to relate. But what you find, I think, over time is you learn about the new environment, and you adapt because you've been trained to do that, and you learn to apply some of those experiences and skills. And you bring a little bit more maturity from a leadership perspective, whatever level you're coming out of the military, to the organization you join.
Jerome, tell me a little bit more about your military experience.
I was an Army infantry officer. Just like Mark, I was ROTC. I went through ROTC. And after a couple of years, I decided to get out. The first career that I went into from an infantry officer was a sales job. If you think about comparable skill sets and looking at on the ground, infantry and sales probably does not necessarily match up, but what really did match up was the ability to make a relationship. At the end of the day, that's what I was doing in the infantry and Army, as well as I was doing in my sales job. So the two had a correlating factor there.
And was it difficult for you to identify that initially?
It was a little difficult because I didn't see the direct connection to sales. And I had a mentor early on that kind of helped me guide through that process. And through that process, we'd start talking, and I found out sales would be a good area for me to land in.
Tell me how the company benefits from hiring veterans.
Well, the company benefits in a myriad of ways. They're going to get a high-quality individual out of the military who understands the importance of mission and task and getting work done, and at the same time is bringing in a skill set that is already at a very high level for the particular job they're coming in for and has the ability to grow. And we see often leaders who are able to come in our organization at all levels of the military, progress and grow well across our career paths and become our future leaders.
Veterans Day is a very important day throughout the country and here at Coca-Cola, and you had a reunion recently.
We did. We had a fantastic Veterans Day celebration this year. Being the 50th anniversary of the beginning of the Vietnam War, we focused on honoring our Vietnam veterans. And, you know, during the Vietnam War, there was the POWs, mostly pilots who were shot down as they were on their bombing runs over North Vietnam. There was a group called the Alcatraz 11 who were sort of the ringleaders, who were trying to have lead the resistance among the other veterans, and who really were tortured quite significantly in the early years. So they were captured and eventually were carved off and held at a separate place that was even worse than the Hanoi Hilton, called Alcatraz, which the nickname they gave it. And there recently been a phenomenal book called Defiant written about this group. And we honored those Alcatraz 11 at our event, and all our Vietnam veterans, which we have quite a few here at the Coca-Cola Company. So it was a very special evening, a great reunion for this group of POWs who really sacrificed and made a huge sacrifice for our nation, and then our ability to honor all our veterans with a special focus on Vietnam.
You were there as well?
Yes.
What was it like for you, Jerome?
It was very emotional, just to see what these men went through at that time for the sacrifice of us all. It was just really very, very emotional.
Thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Hiring America.
This Military Minute is brought to you by the Veterans of Foreign Wars. The VFW has a place for you.
Leak Hunting and Mountain Reserve in northeast Pennsylvania uses all-terrain wheelchairs to help disabled veterans return to one of their favorite hobbies after returning home from war. An upright wheelchair costs a little more than $18,000, but the VFW Post 626 in Bel Air knew they could raise the money to help fellow veterans. Post 626 teamed with Belmont County Commissioner and Tiger Pub owner Matt Coughlin to hold a fundraiser to buy the chairs. They were able to raise more than $30,000 and bought one upright all-terrain wheelchair and one normal all-terrain wheelchair. The chairs are designed to go all over the 256 acres of the Leak Reserve, where veterans can hunt anything from deer to turkeys to bears. And watching the joy on the veterans' faces when they return to the hunting grounds makes it all worth it.
The VFW has a place for you. Find out at VFW.org. Hiring America will be back in a moment.
Home Depot's culture is incredibly fun. It's a lot of work, but it's like a big family. Spring at the Home Depot is very fast-paced, crazy busy. The stores are filled with people. Typically, in about an 8-week time frame, we hire 80,000 people across the country to serve our customers. We have over 35,000 veterans that work for the Home Depot. We've hired almost 19,000 veterans so far this year. We want somebody who knows customer service, who is willing and driven to provide customer service, somebody who thrives in a fast-paced environment and is a good teamwork.
We're joined now by Ron George, a store associate department supervisor at a Home Depot store here in Atlanta. Ron served in the United States Marines enlisting in 1984. In late 1998, Ron transitioned into the Army. He left military service in 2014. Ron, welcome to Hiring America.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here with us today in this beautiful store.
It is a beautiful store.
Tell me a little bit more about your military experience.
Well, I joined in 1984 to the Marines. Both my parents were Marines, so kind of a family thing. Transitioned from the Marines into the Army, which most people would think is kind of strange, but I wanted to do something a little different. I left the military service in 2014, just not expecting to do anything else, because my wife's actually in the Air Force Reserve, and she's an actual Home Depot associate manager over at the SSC. So I was just going to be a stay-at-home dad. She came to me one day and she said, hey, I think you're wasting your skill sets. And she said, well, you should apply for Home Depot. Well, if you take a look at us from the outside, we're the same as the military. We give back, we have integrity, All right, we follow the same type of values that the military does. So I really think you'll enjoy working there. And she wasn't wrong.
And I think that's a perfect example of a lot of veterans around this country are asking the very same thing. What do I end up doing from here?
It's more along the lines of what am I going to be able to do, like as far as a hands-on type thing. I know how to manage people. I know how to lead them. I know how to mirror the right behaviors. I know how to get jobs done. Just finding that right niche to be able to use those skill sets to make an organization better.
What is it like to work for a company where you feel so valued?
Absolutely wonderful. Not just valued, appreciated. Given opportunities to start at the bottom and work your way up, which I'm driven to do. You can come in and you can be just a regular garden associate, and in 3 years you can be a store manager. It's a fabulous feeling.
What is it like to work with fellow veterans?
I absolutely love it because I know where they're coming from. I know what I'm getting. As a department head, it's important for me to, I inspect initiative, I inspect dependability. When I have veterans that come to me and they're working on my team, I don't have to worry about having those things because I already know they're instilled. I think it has to do with the fact that when you're in the military, we're so close-knit that it's difficult to kind of leave that and find an organization that you feel the same.
Do you have any advice for fellow veterans who might be interested in getting a job here at the Home Depot?
Don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone, because your skills in leading and managing, your integrity, your discipline, and your initiative is exactly what Home Depot needs. You served your country, you were deployed, you served alongside other people fighting for freedoms for here today in America. There's no company out there that could tell you no, because they're going to invest in you. Home Depot will invest in you.
You know, I'm pretty amazed you've been here for just 5 months, and I feel like I'm talking to somebody who's been here for 5 to 10 years.
Well, thank you.
Where does this passion come from?
I would have to say it comes from here. When I first joined the military, I can remember sitting with the recruiter, and he had what they called benefit tags. But I remember picking discipline, pride of belonging, direction, and challenges. That's what I wanted. And I feel like when I was interviewed before, I feel like I picked the same things with Home Depot.
What are Team Depot projects?
We help other veterans or anyone in need by partnering with nonprofit organizations like Meals for Wheels, AMVETS, the American Legion, and a different array of nonprofit organizations that teams with the Home Depot Foundation, and that's where we get the sources of our funds from. We go out and we look for people in need that can need decks built, bathrooms redone, handicap accessible bathrooms and kitchens and things like that. We volunteer our time. No Home Depot associate is paid for their time. We help put a front and a back deck, fix the gutters, and fix the internal plumbing on a disabled Navy vet.
Another vet, helping another vet.
That's right.
How did it feel?
It was a good feeling.
Ron, thank you so much for joining us here on Hiring America.
Well, thank you for having me.
Check out these companies and organizations actively seeking veterans. Hiring America, brought to you by Farmers Insurance. Be a farmersagent.com.
thanks for watching. The information we've just shared is all on our website, hiringamerica.net. Log on and find out about more companies who are hiring veterans. Post comments on our Facebook page or send us suggestions that can help us help you. I'm Lauren Wanko at Coca-Cola headquarters in Atlanta. Join us next week for another episode of Hiring America.
Hiring America is produced in cooperation with the VFW. No one does more for veterans. Promotional consideration provided by JetBlue Airways. This program made possible by the generous support of the following companies: